Hey, good people, it's Jackie Mumfree, the real estate maven, and I want to bring you 3 points to keep in mind when you're looking to buy a home going into 2024. If you're a first-time home buyer or haven't bought a home in a long time, one thing that I want you to be mindful of is keeping your mouth closed about your process. If you're a person that's kind of likes to have a lot of people in as sounding boards, as consulting or whatnot, friend groups, family, co-workers, loved ones, whatnot, keep your mouth closed and keep what you want close to heart, and do all of your research. Like, look at homes that you might be interested in, look at neighborhoods, schools, all of the things that are going to be important to you for your decision. Start researching them now. Just keep it to yourself. And the reason why I say this is because so many people will say shop by committee. They get everybody involved, they get everybody's feedback, and then if you have to backtrack something because like, hey, it may not be the time right now, or the interest rates, or I'm worried about certain things, or this is a lot of pressure, you're constantly going to be answering questions that they ask you about your process when you don't even know what it is that you want. So getting everybody involved before you even made a decision, getting everybody involved before you get pre-qualified, getting everybody involved just to even have a discussion as to where you want to be is confusing. So do your own research. Google is your friend. Go online to the online real estate online companies like your realtor.com and homes.com and even Zillow.com, and start doing your research. Get in the car, drive around, look at it, look up those neighborhoods on YouTube, look at Facebook groups of people that live in those communities. There's millions of Facebook groups online, so you can find a community or 2 or 3 in those areas and read the comments that you read. Do your own research before you get other people involved, because what I see happening in my own experience with my buyers sometimes is that they rely so heavily on people that they trust in their life for all the tips and tricks of their life, like stock advice or tax advice or car advice. And then they say, well, I want someone to help me with house advice. And not everybody necessarily that you may be advising owns a home or has bought a home recently. If they bought a house 50 years ago, they bought a house 10 years ago, even 2 years ago, the market is completely different, and how it's going to affect you and your finances and your credit and your income and everything else. How you live, the state of mind that you have that you're looking. So do all of your own research first. Get with consultants that are licensed in their field, that have experience and or specialize in what you are trying to purchase, whether a house, townhouse, single family, or whatnot you want to build from the ground up. It doesn't cost you any money to have a conversation with a licensed realtor or licensed loan officer just to start the process. They're not going to make you sign a bunch of stuff to have a 20-30 minute conversation. They're going to probably try to win you over, of course, for your business, but at least have the conversations with 2, 3, or even 4 of them so that you can kind of get a gist of what you're getting into if it's your very first time, after you've already started doing your research, so you can have some questions that you may have developed to ask them to kind of help you along with your decision process. Number 2, be careful of haters that are in your life. And when you're buying a house, you're going to have haters that come out that you may not actually expect to show up as hate or shade, but it is. So for instance, I'll give you an example. So say you have a friend, a person that you're friendly, not a bestie, but like a friendly person, and you happen to meet them and they're like, hey, what's going on? You're like, oh, think about buying a house, I want to be in Buckhead, or I want to be in Sandy Springs, and I'm looking to do this, that, and the third, right? Number 1, those people might start pocket watching you, especially if they're coworkers, because they're like, well, you're making $100,000 a year, I'm making $100,000 a year. How can you afford a $100,000 house? Well, it's none of their business how you can afford it, right? But people will pocket watch, they will kind of shade. Or if something's taken a long process or taking you, a while to kind of find the exact house that you're looking for, you might hear something like, well, how's your little house search going? How's the house search going? Or, or I ran into somebody like, why is your realtor telling you should be in Sandy Springs? I mean, the taxes are so high in Sandy Springs. Yes, the schools are good, but you're going to be overpaying for the house. You can get the same house, say, in Chattahoochee Hills Country, which is an hour across town, or you can get a better house in Covington. What they're doing is projecting on you as to what they think that you should do with your money, time, energy, commute time, anything that you have going on in your life. They will project on you. And as a realtor, I hear it secondhand where they say, yeah, my coworker said XYZ, like they don't think Dunwoody's a good place for me based on my personality. but they're not spending a dime toward your process, right? They're not giving you any money. They're not extending their credit to you, but yet they are wanting to be impactful in your life just because you shared a little bit about what you've got going on. So I always tell people, just don't share, don't get people involved that don't need to be involved. And then thirdly, going back to the coworkers, be careful of who you share your blessings with. Be careful of who you give your energy to when it involves something to do with how you live or your money. I'll give you an example. I had a client of mine, this was a few years back. He was excited about a prospect of buying a foreclosed property over in Cobb County. Beautiful home, had all the bells and whistles, had everything that he was looking for. And he innocently shared the interest that he had in the property with a coworker. And so he goes and, we go out, look at the house, everything, it works. We go and bid. And then all of a sudden, we end up getting in a bidding war when this house sat on the market for, I don't know how long at the time, maybe about 30, 40 days. And all of a sudden, it's getting an offer. And I'm like, what the heck? Lo and behold, we win the bid. We bid it up and negotiated. We got back and forth. We get the house. We close. He finds out some weeks later after closing that he was negotiating against another coworker at the same office. So he shared with somebody in his department about what he was had going on, just innocently sharing, as people do. Then that person gets to walking down to another part of the campus and gets to talking about what somebody's looking at buying. Oh, well, so-and-so is looking at buying a house, or so-and-so. Oh, well, I'm kind of looking too. Well, what house is it? Then that person goes and bid against my client, and he ended up paying $17,000 higher for a house that didn't have any other offers because he innocently shared his idea, or innocently shared what he was doing in his life with somebody at work, just having conversation. So be mindful of that. It could have been into a predicament that he may have not gotten a house, but having spent $17,000 more for a house than he had to, could somebody else have bought it? No, but he found out later that the person like, oh, I bidded on that house and it was a bidding war. And he was like, oh, he deduced like it was you that I was bidding against, all because he shared. So keep those three things in mind when you're out looking for a house in 2024. And if I can help you, let me know. Follow me, subscribe wherever you might be seeing this video for more tips, because I love sharing these tips. They're usually based on real life experiences that I have gone through personally with my clients, and I want to share with you just so you don't make the same mistakes when it's time for you to get into real estate. All right, have a good time on this platform, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.